Hello everyone, how you doing? Mercury here, coming to you with today's message. So what do I want to talk about today? Well, I want to revisit Garnet Harper and his passing, his story, his legacy. Now, Garnet was a local freedom fighter activist against the COVID narrative, mandates, vaccines, so to say. And Garnet has passed away standing up for his beliefs and rights. And unfortunately, our so-called health institution denied him to be put on the kidney transplant list due to his sovereign decision to not be vaccinated. And what makes things worse is he had two brothers who both even offered their kidneys, and he was still denied by our institutions. Now, the last video I did was speaking on how Garnet influenced those that were close to him, how he reactivated a push to stand up and to keep pounding, as he would say. Now, this video here is going to talk about how this story is actually affecting the larger collective, or how this story is helping, how even in Garnet's afterlife he is continuing to pound on these doors of instigating change. Okay, so his story has become a little bit more mainstream here. I saw True North, a video that True North just did yesterday, and Rebel News today, as well as I'm pretty sure I've seen another one. And there are other people in this a very similar situation of Garnet's, and this isn't being hidden anymore. This is really coming out and being told. So I want to look back at the chart here and gain some more insight on the rippling effects of this tragic happening. Okay, so we're May 22nd here. We're at the beginning of Gemini season. So Gemini, duality, reflection, the mirror, and that's really what I'm doing here. This is really shining a reflection on things, right? And you know, I did this video earlier, and it turned out it had no volume, and I'm actually just noticing this now too. So what I'm going to be speaking of is this red triangle, more so, of Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto, mainly Pluto. Now you can see Pluto's at 0 degrees, Jupiter and Mars are both at 1 degree, and the Sun is at 1 degree, which I'm just actually kind of putting into this more, the fact that this reflection is complementing. Okay, so the green is complementing. the the green triangle is complementing the green star is exciting. So it's exciting, and this is what I spoke in the last video, more so Mars into Leo. It's exciting. It's instigating here. We'll use some action, Mars, in courage, in the heart, in us as sovereign, independent leaders of ourselves to start moving. Okay, now I'm going to talk about Jupiter. So I kind of spoke a little bit about the reflection here and how it's complementing this transformation. Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is our values. Jupiter is expanding our values. So what we care about, we are expanding that and turning it into action. Okay. And over here, Pluto. This is who I'm really going to speak the most on. Pluto is a very small planet, so small that I'm not even sure if he's still considered a planet. I think he was left on the planet list because of popular demand. However, I don't believe he classifies as a planet, but he is still an astrological body. In astrology, you know, we even got Chiron here, and Chiron's just a meteor, okay? So we still use Pluto. Pluto is actually very important, and here I'm going to say why. So Pluto here is in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is about the individual, but it's also about large groups of people. Okay, and Pluto is about power. So the power in the individual and how it has rippling effects in the larger groups of people. Okay, now Pluto is in retrograde. So Pluto, I think, was in May, moved into, when was it? Maybe it was April or earlier May, went and moved into Aquarius out of Capricorn. And it didn't take long for him to turn retrograde again. But yeah, what I'm getting at is I'm going to give you some backstory on Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto's a 248-year cycle. He's very slow moving, so you know, you got to take a window. Like, he moved into Capricorn in 2008. So anyhow, 248 years ago brings us to, you know, around 1776. And if you go back 248 more years, it brings you to around 1520s, around there somewhere. I can't remember the exact date, but the 1776 date means something to the Americans for sure, but it's a date that we're more familiar with, so I'll start with that one. 1776 is when America got founded and they wrote the Declaration of Independence. Okay, so the years leading up to this was in the years, I found this information once, and I found some contradicting information, but still in a similar window of time, that the blankets with smallpox were being delivered to the natives in the years leading up to the creation of America. So biological warfare. And the creation of America was people claiming their independence from Europe, from England. And so there was the creation of this new country. However, there was a decimation of the natives being the rulers of this land in this as well. So there's kind of like a rise and fall thing going on here. And if we go back to the around 1520s or whatever, this is where the Spaniards had decimated the Aztec Empire, where the Aztec Empire fell. So there was a rise to a Western influence in America and a fall to the civilization that stood here previously. Now, the Spaniards also brought smallpox over. I'm not sure the delivery system, but here again, biological warfare. So we could kind of see this cycle, this pattern repeating itself. And so Pluto is at the end of Capricorn. So we're in this time again where we're seeing a rise and fall of Capricorn is the foundation or the institutions or traditions, okay? So Pluto is going to make one final stay here. I'm fairly certain he does not go back into Capricorn in a future retrograde. There is a slight possibility. However, I'm not getting into any specific dates on when this is happening, so I don't really need to look into that. The main story that I'm going with here is Pluto is about death and rebirth, deep transformation, power, and he is moving back into Capricorn and will be back in Aquarius by January, early January. He'll be moving back into Aquarius, or maybe late December, but I think it's early January. And it's sometime in October when he finishes his retrograde. So, retrograde review. Currently, right now, Pluto is in Capricorn at around 28 degrees or so. So we are reviewing our traditions. We are reviewing our institutions, and how and what power they may have, and we're reviewing this to obviously transform it. That's what Pluto does. So I am looking at this story of Garnet passing becoming mainstream in this time of revisiting and reviewing how these institutions serve or may not serve us, how our traditions around business, perhaps, Pluto, plutocracy, these are our leaders, how this is not, Jupiter being in Taurus, this is about currency, right? The golden bull on Wall Street, and it's an aspect here. So I think Garnet's story is really having a great toll on bringing forth the truth on how these institutions are corrupted and are not serving us and are up for transformation. And unfortunately, bad things have to happen in life for the good to come out. And here's Mercury, right? The duality of our reality. Without bad, there is no good. If there was only good, we would not know good if there was not bad. So this video is gone a little bit longer than I expected. I'm not getting the information streamlined like I was wishing in my previous, but I'm out adding extra stuff into it as well, right? So anyways, yeah, Pluto is the individual in the collective and has rippling effects, which is causing major transformation in our institutions, in our traditions, in the foundation of our society. And it's crumbling, okay? When Pluto moved into Capricorn is when the housing bubble popped, okay? So we could see what Pluto in this area is doing. Pluto will move into Aquarius and have its major transformation of these large groups of people and ourselves as individuals. Maybe when Pluto moved into Aquarius, crisis came upon us. I think a lot of people are in crisis right now. And this crisis is causing even the individual's transformation, instigating the beginning of it. It's going to be, possibly a 14-year process of him in Aquarius. But yeah, I guess, I really shared what it is that I had to say in this video already. That, Garnet is still doing his work beyond the grave. And that there's, hope in these cycles, in these processes. They often say trust the process. And I really have a hard time trusting the process because it feels like I've been stagnant in any transformation happening, and so I just don't really see much of any process getting me anywhere in my own life. But yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with astrology because I keep trusting the process. I keep reading the chart and seeing. I know that there's much to it. However, it seems, and maybe this is the observer affects the observation kind of thing, and the fact that I'm expecting things to go a certain way is me affecting the observation for it to not work out the way that I want it to, because I am not actually putting trust in the process, even though I'm trusting the process as I am analyzing the process and following the process. And yeah, it's very disheartening when you've let something go and you're patient and waiting for the timing, and then the timing comes and it didn't manifest. And so I really have a difficult time trusting the process when I just feel like, I feel like I have to edit this shit out because this has nothing to do with Garnet. I'm gonna cut this video and see if I could find a edit point where I could trim it. Okay, cheers, bye.